In recent days, Dr. Ben Carson has taken serious heat on the campaign trail, facing criticism and attacks over his personal and political views, even his life story. Tonight, in a Kelly File exclusive, Dr. Ben Carson addresses the 2016 race, as well as some of the great passions in his life: medicine, family, and faith. It's an eye-opening look at the man who wants to be president, in his own words, as he sits down with fellow doctor Marc Siegel of Fox News. Take a look.
I want to ask you the most important question first. What role has faith played in healing for you?
Well, faith for me has been a critical and central part of my life. From the time I was, a child. Growing up in the church, it was listening to the mission stories in church, Sabbath school, that inspired me to become a doctor. From the time I was 8 years old, never wanted to do anything other than be a doctor. The kind of doctor changed, but it was always a doctor. And I was just so inspired by the way that they, at great personal sacrifice, tried to help other people. And, as a teenager, faith played a huge role in my transition when I almost stabbed someone. And, I just prayed to God that somehow he could take the temper away from me, because I would have these outbursts. I was normally a nice person. I would just have these outbursts. And it happened. I mean, God took my temper away that day. I've never had another episode of it since that time.
When I read about your mother, I understood why you don't believe in blind entitlements and what you call the faceless money that the government gives out, because I understood your mother worked really hard. But flash over to Obamacare and tell me why, as a physician, what's your critique of it?
Well, the main reason that I have been such a vociferous opponent of Obamacare is not so much because it's not affordable and that it doesn't work, but because it fundamentally changes the relationship between the people and the government. When you look at the way the country was put together, it was supposed to be of, for, and by the people, with the government there to facilitate life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. With this act, the government comes along and says, don't really care what you people think. This is what we're doing. We're shoving it down your throat, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, too bad.
Why is your favorability and likability and honesty? Is the American public seeing you clearly?
I think they are. I've been out there all over the country talking to people, and they're actually starting to listen to what I'm saying, as opposed to what the left-wing media says that I'm saying. I'm looking for a way that we can lift America. I don't care about Republicans and Democrats. I care about everybody if we're all Americans, and I care about the values and the principles that made us into a great nation, and I'm not willing to give them away so we can be politically correct.
Talk to me about abortion. I specifically want you to talk about it because I think, and I've read your views on it, I think because you're a physician, a neurosurgeon, a pediatric neurosurgeon no less, you understand more what's going on for a fetus inside the womb.
Well, I've spent many a day and many a night, operating on premature babies, and then seeing them as adults, as productive adults. There is no way anybody's going to convince me that that's a meaningless mass of cells. It's just not going to happen.
What's the most memorable moment you can think of talking to a child that you were treating?
I remember a little girl. What a sweet little girl she was. And she had a disseminated medulloblastoma, a very malignant tumor. And, we had removed the primary tumor, but it was already spread. And they tried, bone marrow transplant and all kinds of things. And it had come back again. And there was really nothing more to do. And she just smiled. And she said, you all did the best you could do. Thank you.